All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Okay, this December 4th. All right, we are very fortunate from the St. Rose office to have real estate extraordinaire, Rochelle Vannoy. Rochelle, welcome to the show. Just hit *6 on your phone so it'll unmute you, *6, and just let me know when you're done that, please. Hello? Rochelle, hit *6 on your phone, please. Okay, Rochelle, you still, there you go. I've unmuted everybody. Here we go.
Yeah, because it wouldn't let me. I did hit it, honey. Anyways.
All right.
Good morning.
So, good morning. Tell us a little about yourself and all that good stuff, please.
My name's Rochelle Vannoy. I'm at the St. Rose office, like you said, here in Las Vegas. Been a real estate agent for, as of this month, 23 years now. Can you believe that?
That's awesome. Yes.
I'm married, 2 kids that are grown, and I work the whole valley. So I work North Las Vegas, Vegas, Henderson, Boulder City, Pahrump, the whole area.
That's awesome. You're not afraid to drive, right? Because you have a nice car, so you drive anywhere.
That's true.
It always cracks me up that a lot of agents, because being from New England, I covered 9 little towns. Then I was in California. You drive an hour and a half each way. Then I moved here, and I was like, people, they don't like to drive. It's weird.
Yeah, my car will drive itself, so I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. You just sit back, relax, listen to a book, and there you go.
I love it. Okay, so tell us a little about your progression. I know you started on a team. Tell them a little about all that, please.
So I did. I started on a team. I was on the team for about 2.5 years, and then I became a solo agent. I did get my broker's license right away, just in case I ever wanted it for anything. The first year that I was in real estate, I did 13 deals. Those were all buyers. The second year I did, gosh, it's been so long ago now. I think it was like 18, 19. Anyways, I got stuck at 24, and then I hired a coach, and then I doubled my production in 1 year from 24 to 48.
Nice. That's where we met when I was at Mike Ferry, because I've known you now for what must be like 6. I think it was 16 years now, because I've been
That's a long time,
here for 10. Yeah, so it's been about 15, 16 years now. Yeah. I was your second coach, wasn't I, at Mike Ferry? You
were my second coach, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm an individual agent. I do have full-time assistants, and I have had those pretty consistently, something anyways, all the way from 2000 and probably 11, I think, is when I got my first assistant, 2011.
Okay. Good.
The most deals I've ever done was 54, I believe it was.
Nice.
And so, so I don't know. Real estate's been pretty good to me. It's an interesting business because there's a lot of things that are mundane and the same, and then there's a lot of variation in every day too, especially if you work with buyers and sellers, because one day you're doing, things for one end, and then the other day you're doing things for the complete opposite. So.
Right. And I hear somebody, if whoever's on the phone call today, if you could mute yourself, because I'm not able to mute everybody. We had a little technical difficulty. So if you're on the call today, please mute yourself, because we can hear some stuff going on. All right, so you're in the business, you started on a team, and then you became a solo agent. You got into coaching. Tell us some of the things that you've learned in your progression, because now your goal is what, 60 this year?
That was my goal last year, believe it or not. I set what I consider a crazy goal for myself for next year, and so we'll see how close I can come. My goal is just to grow. For quite a few years now, I've been kind of, as you say, Rick, lean, mean machine. So I've increased my staff, and I'm trying to get as close as I can to 100 deals. So really, my goal is for next year in 2024 is to grow and grow exponentially, and really delegate everything except for prospecting, lead follow-up, negotiating, going on appointments, and lead follow-up. And
nice.
So hopefully this experiment will be very rewarding, because I can see already. So what I did to prepare for this is in October, when I made my business plan and decided I would do this, I started looking for staff, and then I started increasing my contact goal from 110. I went up to 130 for the month of October per week. And then for November, I went up to 140, and now it's December. So this is the week where I'm starting at 150 contacts a day.
Nice.
And so I have gone on a few more appointments since I've started this. So that's kind of the goal, to go on at least a couple appointments a week. If I take 8 listings a month, which is 2 a week, I can do this with no problem. And so that's kind of the key, is to really be more micro versus macro aware of what am I doing today? What do I need to get accomplished today to make this a good week?
Right. And it's so true, because you've always been like I call you the lean, mean sales machine. You've always been, and that goes with money, because you keep a major percentage of the money you earn, which is incredibly good. A lot of agents spend way too much on advertising and personal promotion and all other things that you do not. So now this year is going to be exciting, because, as long as you're able to, and I know you're capable of, delegating all, within a period of time, because you have a really good assistant and you have a part-time assistant too, as long as you are involved in those billable hours activities 80% of the time, there's no reason why you can't achieve your goal.
Right. And so, there's good and bad to all of that. And so really it's more my ability to be okay with the mundane repetitiveness of just doing those few activities versus getting to do something distracting that's, obviously easier and all of that. And,
right.
And, and it's really easy to do that. And, not, if you don't pay attention, you don't really realize that you're doing it just so that you don't have to do what you don't want to do.
Right. Right. Yeah. And a lot of agents do that. You're doing it at a different level, but yeah, distracting, busy work that's less productive than the stuff you're talking about. Like, for instance, you go to the gym and you want to have ab muscles that you can see, you got to, my number is 200, at least 200 crunches, whatever you're going to do. I'm talking about like actual reps. If you do that every day, you're going to see your abs in no time. So it's like when you talk to people.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And
I used to have 100. When I was in gymnastics, we did 100 100 a day.
The 100's good.
60.
100's good. 100's what I call a really good start.
Ah.
I'm just talking. But you see what happens is you figure out for yourself what is necessary, right? So like with you know, not everybody's willing to get on the phones and go door knocking and be proactive like you are. You are, and if you do a little more of it, like you just talked about with your contact numbers, then the sky's the limit, I think.
Well, and I'm also trying to be a little bit more, not spending money on personal promotion, but having my assistants do a little bit more consistent posting on the social media sites.
Yeah.
And then actually physically going to other realtor events and stuff, just to be, you know, when this market shifts, Rick, which it will, I want people to know my name enough just to say if they got an offer from me or they're writing an offer on my listing that they're comfortable calling me and saying, hey, you know, we met at, you know, I have a great buyer, you know, they're pre-qualified, they will close, you know, and the comfort of having that to get your offer accepted versus somebody else's.
Right. Exactly. That's the key one right there too, because when you get the offer in, you know, it's nice when you're in control of it because you're a professional, get it done agent. And until you've dealt with one of those agents that just likes to get in the way, you know, it sounds like I'm being critical, but there are agents that just get in the way, unfortunately. So when you have an offer on somebody else's, you want to make sure that you're first in line for your clients too.
100%. Yeah. And, you know, and if I know the other agent, it just makes everything go so much smoother because they realize that, you know, there's not going to be any drama in my transaction.
Right. Yep. No drama transactions, just get it done and close.
That's my goal. No drama. No. In any aspect of my life, honestly.
Right. That's why you can't stand the news and watching all that crap because that's all drama.
Yeah, it just makes me nauseous. I don't watch any of that. I haven't watched news in decades, literally decades.
Right. Good.
And I love to read now. I read a lot, most of it via Audible, but not all of it. And
right.
I've started watching a lot of documentaries too, because I believe that, you know, our clients come from all walks of life and all careers, and the more knowledge that you have about aspects outside of your everyday will help you to better relate and understand maybe what they do and what they like. So right. Being
well-rounded for all those types of conversations, I think, is a great idea. Documentaries are great. I love Audible, obviously, as you know. You got to stay sharp, and you got to know a little like what's going on, interest rates and things like that, market knowledge.
100%. You have to know the numbers.
Right.
And you know,
absolutely.
Rick, what I realized it is true, and you know, you hear people say this, but until you really understand what it means, and that's the saying that you can't become the person you want to become being the person you are now.
Right.
So if you aren't willing to change something or grow in some way, Darren Hardy's big thing is I'm sure he still does it. He's a big proponent of spending 10% of whatever you earn on yourself and growth. And so he, for many, many years, took many different classes and learned lots of things. And it doesn't have to be all in knowledge. As you know, I've been taking dance classes. And so just, you know, whatever can make you educated and happy at the same time.
Right. Yeah. So that's a great point. You take dance classes. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, obviously being well-rounded is extremely important. Also, diverse as far as, like, you know, some people think the amount of transactions you're doing, that's all you do is real estate, and you have no life. But I like when you started, you said I have 2 kids, I'm married. you do cooking, you have dancing, so you have a life outside of real estate too. Tell me a little about that, please.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, my real estate day ends at 6:00, and then I have committed to working half days, Saturdays, to grow this year, and then I don't work on Sunday. So, I do. I have a cooking show on YouTube, and I have children, and I go to shows, and I go to. I have dance lessons once a week, and so I hike, I bike, I read. It's not all real estate.
You also do events outside, because I remember one of the first things I did when I came here 10 years ago is I went to I think it was your daughter was at that arts high school, and you had in that, and I remember as soon as I heard his voice, because I'm like, it's weird how good I am with voices because I play music, and as soon as I heard his voice, I went, that's the dude from Phantom of the Opera that I saw in Toronto. So not only did you have in a good opera singer, you had like one of the best. I mean, that was amazing. How did you get him?
He does a lot of that auction stuff. He does it so I try to support different charities.
Yeah.
The one you're talking about is the Las Vegas Performing Arts.
Right.
And then there's also, he does for the Burn Foundation, for the Firemen's Auction. He always does their live auction. He's actually done ones for breast cancer as well. And so he really, he volunteers his time a lot to do stuff like that. So
that's amazingly awesome. Yeah, because he's in the original cast of Les Miserables, and I saw that in Toronto probably about 15 years before. I saw him, and as soon as he hit that first note, I'm like, oh my God, I know this guy. Right. So no, that's really awesome. And you do a lot of that stuff outside of the office too, which is completely awesome.
I do, because you know what? I find that it gets me a little bit out of what I call my comfort zone, because I don't always know people at these events, and I go and I support, like I said, I buy things at the auction for things that I wouldn't normally go or do, and then it gets me exposed to things that I didn't know anything about, And
I bet, as a side note, you probably do a little business from all these things you do outside of actually, calling people and going on appointments, right? That's got to be your associations have got to help out.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does. That's obviously not my primary goal of doing that, but it can be a side effect. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. So before we got about 10 minutes left here. So tell them, I love this question. I've been asking it for years. I want you to tell them your top 3 things I would focus on for 2024, so you can sell more in 2024. What would be your top 3? Like, that's my new thing for next year.
Let's see, top 3 things. Well, one thing that I believe is in consistency. So one of my goals for 2024 is to be really diligently consistent, and that is in all aspects. So that is in my schedule, staying on my schedule, in my contact goal, my listing goal per week, every week, just staying consistent. Because if you're doing the activities, the results will follow. They don't always follow a straight line like we'd all like. Sometimes there's hills and valleys like a roller coaster. But if you are consistent, it will trajectory get you to where you need to be in the end. So that's the first thing.
Love it.
In 2024, I'm also focusing again on one of my words is exponential. So in all aspects of my life. So I want exponential growth in my business, but I want exponential health and exponential wealth and exponential physical capabilities. So as I age, what I keep saying lately that I'm doing something about is that I am not as strong as I was. And I noticed that I'm not as strong as I was a decade ago. I'm not physically out of shape or anything, but my muscle mass is less because I'm a woman and I'm getting older. So really kind of focusing a little bit more on building muscle tone. So I actually have 8-pound weights, which aren't, anything major, but I have them in my office. And so every day I just grab them and just do, 20 reps or whatever, just something little in your downtime or break time or lunch break or whatever. So that's another thing I'm focusing on for 2024 is exponential growth in all aspects of my life to make it more well-rounded.
I love it.
And then the other thing for this coming year for me is to have more exciting goals to attach to the outcome, to get my why stronger, to make it so I am not complacent and are doing things that are out of what has been my business goal and end game for the last few years. And so traveling internationally, since COVID, I haven't traveled internationally. I travel all the time, but one of the things that I'm doing this year is just more consistent rewards. So there's something every single month that I'm doing to focus on to get me moving. And then we are going to be going on a big trip internationally as well, because now I have another great assistant who can handle things while I'm on the road, so to speak.
Nice. Those are great. I love them. Okay. Consistency in all your activities, exponential growth. And I love the way you say in all aspects of your life, because, we're only as strong as the spokes in the wheel, right? And if some are loose and some are tight, it's a hell of a ride. Where this one here, and make your why stronger by giving yourself rewards, I would say, along the way, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've played games over the years with myself, but this year, I already have booked something for January, February, and March. So right now I'm figuring out what I want to do in April.
Love it. Love it. I was just talking, it's funny you say that. I was just talking with somebody about that too, is even if you're not going on the vacation tomorrow and you're feeling stressed, just by setting it, commit to the days, put the deposit,
block
or
it out in your calendar. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I love it. Those are all important. And you know what? You've been doing this for a while. I remember, you and I are not really good at telling each other when we're on vacation. So I've called you, you called me. I remember one time I called you, you were in I can't even remember. It was somewhere Eastern Europe. And I'm like, I didn't even know you were going. That was the time that you had a little issue on a bus. I can't remember, but it was kind of crazy. But anyway.
Oh,
you guys,
wow. That was a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I had my purse absconded on a bus. We had been traveling for a long time, and I was exhausted, and so that's the one and only time that's ever happened to me, actually. But
but it was a good trip anyway. It was still a great trip.
Oh yeah,
and you go for 2 weeks at a time too.
Yeah. So our goal this coming, I'm going to go to South America. So we're going to go to Machu Picchu. So we'll be in Peru probably, and Colombia. And
nice.
That'll be a couple of weeks.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, well, we're just about up here. Anything you want to leave these people with today? What do you think?
I think the grass is not always greener on the other side, and no matter what career you were in or, are in, that if you just double down on what you already have learned and know and grow, you'll see life improve. And, it's a good thing. The adage is true. No one else can make you happy except yourself. So if you're not happy, look inside, not outside. It's not somebody else's fault. It's yours.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to do whatever it is that makes you happy and focus on the gratitude of the little things, because when you focus on honestly, Rick, everybody in the U.S. is wealthy, healthy, and blessed. We are so far ahead of most other places that we lose sight of the many blessings that we truly have. So just being cognizant and gratitude on what you have in your life brings more to your life.
Right. And if our younger generation of today would buy that, and I would add into it, you're not a victim. You live in the best country in the world for everything. And the word you just described is responsibility. Once you take responsibility for yourself, it's nothing around. You have every opportunity you could want to have here, no matter what sex, age, what color. Everybody has tremendous opportunity, and it's just a matter of doing the things that'll cause you to get the end result you want, instead of pointing the finger at people and saying, I can't because of this, which is if you think about it, I don't know how anybody can feel good about that mindset. What you just described not only makes you more productive, it makes you more healthy, makes your mindset better, it makes everything about you better. It's a great job.
Well, remember, when you're pointing a finger at somebody else, 4 fingers are pointing back at you.
So true.
You need to just be, hey, I guarantee you everybody listening to this call had heat in their house, food in their pantry, and, even if they don't have millions of dollars, they had enough money that they didn't have to worry for this day. And so life is a blessing. Be glad you're awake and alive today and healthy. Health is something you cannot buy and cannot get back.
Right.
And I know you're a big proponent of that. And so I would say 2024, I truly see exponential growth for me in 2024.
And so do I. And I just want to say thank you very much. This was awesome. Thank you for taking your time out today. You're always helpful. Success series, podcast, whatever. And I always think, Rochelle, your message is extremely awesome. So thank you very much for taking your time out today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye, everybody. We'll do it again in a week. Have a great week, Rochelle. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.